All right, guys, welcome into another episode of the Queen City Soccer Show. I'm your host, Cole Godfrey, joined as always by my co-host, Level Up Luke. Luke, how you feeling, man?
I'm feeling great, Cole. We've had an action-packed time since the last recording. The last time we talked to the listeners here, Charlotte FC was on the rebound, coming back from the Leagues Cup break, and now we have a transfer window completed under our belts. We have a record-breaking streak going, and lots of stuff to talk about.
One more note, please stay tuned after the episode for a special conversation between me and Danny Brams of the Charlotte Soccer Show about the transfer window, about some of the new additions and changes to Charlotte FC. And that's at about the hour and 6 minute mark if you want to skip ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's kick it off. Like the last time we spoke was Charlotte going into the Real Salt Lake match, and yeah, we expected a win from this match, and Charlotte FC went out there and got another clean sheet, man, and won 1-0 off of a goal from Idanto Clamati, who stays in just immaculate form. And yeah, man, to make it six in a row, six MLS wins in a row at the time. Luke, well, give me some of your thoughts on this match, man. How are you feeling? What were you thinking?
Yeah, so Real Salt Lake, we talked about it. Not a lot of history there for Charlotte FC. So this is a game, a Western Conference game. I think the last Western Conference game we play this season, which is not going to impact our standing in the Eastern Conference. So this does not have any negative consequence for our playoff push, except in the sense that if we gain some points off of this, it'll help our playoff push. So every game is important at this stage because we're trying to make up all that ground we lost in June. And the East is very competitive. The teams above us are not dropping very many points. So for Charlotte FC to keep the momentum going was really important and at least get something out of this match. Now, we're playing at home at Bank of America where everybody knows it's our fortress. This is a place we expect to win every single game. And the game out there, I got to say, Charlotte looked dominant to me. I thought it was a very good showing, start to finish, soup to nuts. I thought Charlotte was the definitely the strongest team on the pitch that day. Now, Real Salt Lake missing Diego Luna, obviously that's a big talking point. Moon Man, as we call him, a real American hero. He's one of those players that stepped up for the U.S. national team, and we've talked about that in the past. So I love Diego Luna, respect the hell out of him, but Real Salt Lake just wasn't their day. So, like you said, Tokulmadi, brilliant finish, assist by Ashley Westwood. That's in the 35th minute, and there was some action. There was a little bit of fireworks in this game, but really, at the end of the day, it's good to just get the win. Christian Kahlina gets the clean sheet, and one of the big takeaways for me was I feel like Christian Kahlina's back. You know, we had a lot of questions. He had a rough run of form, and we talked about he had another child and was maybe having a baby at home, and some off the pitch kind of real life concerns. Was that distracting his gameplay? I feel like we're closer to seeing the Christian Kahlina of last season, and that was one of my big takeaways from the Real Salt Lake game. How about you, Cole?
No, I agree 100%. Luke, that is four clean sheets in a row in the league for Charlotte FC. 2-0 against Toronto, 1-0 against Cincinnati, 1-0 against Real Salt Lake, and then I spoiled a little bit, but 1-0 against Red Bulls, which we'll talk about here in a minute. But yeah, man, Christian Kahlina, this match, he was the man of the match on FootMob at an 8.3. And dude, it's such a big talking point because it was just that May and June, man, where Nathan Burton was out as well, which I think has a lot to do, which I do want to talk about. But man, Christian Kahlina, I don't know what happened. I don't know, what was the kickstart in this? Were there rumors of them trying to go out and get another goalkeeper, which they did, which we'll also discuss. Was what was the catalyst? But whatever it was, Luke, it is working because he has been otherworldly. He's been the reigning MLS goalkeeper of the year, and he's proven why he was who he was last season, this second half of the season, or this final third of the season. Yeah, and look, this honestly was a pretty, if I'm just going to run through the stats real quick, possession was 50-50. XG was in favor of Charlotte, 1.2 to 0.9 for RSL. They did have the edge on you in total shots. They had 7 shots on target. You only had 2. But you had the 3 big chances. They had the one. And Edon Toklamani, one thing we can say about Edon, man, if he gets an opportunity, he is slotting them home, man. He has been really, really good since Big Pat has departed for England. And, I mean, just you have a 1.2 XG and you have a goal. And, again, man, Ashley Westwood with the assist.
We try to avoid going with the obvious choice. I think Edon Toklamani deserves a shout-out for his continued amazing performance. I think that Ashley Westwood had a fantastic game, and he's still got it, man. Like, he's still an MLS starting caliber player. So I don't want the listeners at home to think that when we're critical of him and we're pointing out some decreasing performance output, I'm not saying that Ashley Westwood should be benched. I would say that his minutes should be regulated, but he had a fantastic game. And he still comes in with some amazing passes, some good free kicks, and he does a great job of I think in like Football Manager, the video game series, you'd call it like the leadership qualities. And even though he gets pretty hot-headed sometimes, the kind of composure, he's an on-the-field leader. He's the kind of guy you need in a game like this, where it's like we get a goal, we lock it down, and Charlotte had a good amount of momentum throughout the game. Real Salt Lake threatened at times, but you need those veteran players like Tim Ream and Ashley Westwood who are just going to keep the team focused, keep the mentality going, so that you're not giving up a late goal. You're not giving up those like right before halftime, right after halftime goals. And that's one of those things that I'm afraid of in a game like this is like, are we going to give up a goal at the wrong moment? So just shout out to Ashley Westwood. I think he deserves the credit. Wilfred Zaha continues to be a presence, somebody that has to be accounted for. Kerwin Vargas looking really good. I got to say, man, Kerwin seems more reliable lately. That's another talking point I would have about this game. Malanda, first game after the news that he has been traded. Malanda is no longer a Charlotte FC player. He is loaned back to Charlotte FC for the remainder of the season. And he had a good performance. Christian Kahlina is my man of the match. And I know you just said, FootMob, SofaScore, they have him as man of the match, but I just got to give it to him because I feel like this is like that redeeming kind of game for him where he's able to point to it and say, look, I'm here. I'm still the starter. There is no competition. I am the starting keeper for Charlotte FC. So shout out to Christian Kahlina. Who do you have as your man of the match?
I mean, I'm gonna kind of piggyback off what you said about Ashley Westwood. Ashley Westwood also in football played at 8.3 this match, so that's the same as Christian Kahlina. But we both have been a little critical of Ashley at times, and I think rightfully so. But man, he just, it's almost that Bronico effect where the motor just does not stop running, and this dude wants to win and don't care how you win, just win. He gets the assist, and I mean, realistically, dude, defending wise, getting back and just covering for some of these for the center backs, and just his work rate and work ethic, dude, has just been absolutely really, really, really good here recently. And I do want to give a shout out to Wilfred Zaha as well. In this match, he was top of the statistic board for duels won, and I think that's big for Wilfred, man. I think that throughout the season we've seen him, if he gets depossessed with the ball, you see him physically get mad on the pitch, but man, when this guy is on and when he has the ball at his feet, magic happens. he won 8 duels. He was fouled 5 times in this match. He's going to be one of the most fouled guys in MLS at the end of the season. He's going to be up there with Lionel Messi in that category. And I mean, he was 100% on tackles. I mean, he was really, really good. Even though the stats, as far as not being on the score sheet, which we all expect, or having a goal contribution, which we've come to expect from Zaha over the past couple of months, he was still really, really good. But yeah, my crown of the day is going to go to Ashley, man. The assist, big assist, coming up big time, and then just his work rate and being an absolute stud in that defensive midfielder role, which you and defending and getting back, man. This was a squeaky bum time game and a lot of chances for RSL, man, and he was there to cover up any type of deficiencies we may have had, any type of openings that RSL had. He was there. So I got to give it to Ashley, man.
Yeah, well said. And I think we can move on from Real Salt Lake. Like I said, Western Conference game, we get 3 points. We're still not really making that push on the playoff table at this point, but we do have a game coming up in which we will feel the effects of the transfer window. Um, Common talking point for longtime listeners, you'll know that we've discussed on this show, when Charlotte FC makes moves, they normally do it at the last day of the transfer window, as late as possible, and then we can't seem to get our visas worked out. So the players just sit for a few weeks or maybe a month after the signing, and we're not seeing them on the pitch. Now, this transfer window, I got to say, might be the biggest transfer window in Charlotte FC history. The amount of business, outgoing and incoming, has been truly game changing for the Crown. And the new players coming in are ready to go 2 games after the transfer window, which I feel like is a mark of success. That's improvement over what we've seen in the past. So you have Real Salt Lake on August 16th, and then next week it's a Sunday night game where you see Charlotte FC hosting New York Red Bulls, our nemesis. They're not our technical rival, but if you ask me the teams that I feel the most passionately about that we play against, Atlanta's up there, and then probably Red Bulls is my number 2. How about you, Cole? How do you rate the New Jersey Red Bulls?
Dude, I'll be honest with you. Since Charlotte's inception, I'll always have a very sour taste in my mouth when it comes to Red Bulls, just from that shellacking they gave Charlotte in the first ever playoff match that Charlotte played in the play-in game a couple years ago. And then, man, they just we talked about recently how Charlotte is NYCFC's bogey team. Like Charlotte, it doesn't matter what's going on, man. They give NYCFC hell. And that is what Red Bull has been to Charlotte, man. They have just absolutely owned you. And Luke, coming into this match, I was very interested to see how the style in which Red Bull plays just does not match up well for Charlotte. And Charlotte is a very, very they like to attack off of the counter attack a good bit. They like getting the ball wide out and then coming in, and that just it doesn't bode well for them when they play against Red Bull, because Red Bull don't want the ball, man. They do not want the ball, and when they have the ball, they are very direct, very in the middle of the pitch, coming right down into your center backs, and Charlotte has not fared well with that in the past. So I was concerned, and the run of form that Charlotte's been on, I wanted to see if if you could keep it going against your bogey team. Yes, you're at home and you expect to win. It's Sunday night football. You expect a very big turnout, which I'll be honest with you, I was not impressed with the crowd, but we can save that. But yeah, Charlotte goes into the match and they come out, man. They come out with a 1-0 win and a massive, massive win. I alluded to it a minute ago. Another clean sheet for Christian Kahlina. That'll be 4 in a row for him. And it's a good thing Dean is not doing the wine anymore, because he would be broke right now. But man, I'll be honest with you, Luke. Yes, this is Charlotte's bogey team, and Charlotte did come out on top, so you can't complain about anything. Kerwin Vargas, who I do want to talk about, he gets the goal in the 30th minute, and just a really, really, really good finish. Edon Toklamati with the assists. Dude, Luke, 2 things. How good has Edon been, man, with his goal contributions, putting balls away, and then he sets up Kerwin Vargas for this one. And but more than that, Luke, we talked about I believe it was our last episode how what would our depth chart be, and where would we have Kerwin, where would we have Liel? It seems Dean is going to start Kerwin and Liel's. I would not expect Liel to be here very much long after the season ends. Whether he goes, I would be very shocked. You can't have a DP sitting on the bench, but the way Kerwin's playing, you can't play Liel, man. What are your thoughts on Kerwin? How he's been, how he's performed this season so far?
So, Cole, I think this gives us an opportunity to do something kind of fun. And if you'll give me a little bit of leeway here, maybe you can just roll with me on this. I think we can talk about the
Let's do it.
transfer window updates and the Red Bulls game at the same time. And we can tie in the transfer window moves to this game specifically. You want to take a ride with me?
Let's do it.
All right. So, I agree. Toklomati is incredible. And I think that he is a more traditional center forward that gives you more technique, more finishing than a Patrick Ajman. Patrick Ajman is the kind of talent, the kind of player that has intangible skills. And he gives you something different that's pretty universal. He gives you a big guy who can dominate and force other teams to account for him. Toklomati being a more traditional center forward is going to give you that plug and play in the right system with the right support. He can really blossom as a player. And right now, with the support that we have, even without Pepiel, who's out injured right now with a hamstring, another player out with a hamstring injury, even without Pepiel, we're still getting Toklomati the service that he can convert. And he's providing a really good link-up play with like a Kerwin Vargas. Seems like they have a pretty good connection. Brant Bronico's doing some really cool things on offense. Wilfred Zaha is Wilfred Zaha dude. I mean, the offense looks really good with Toklomati, and I think that Dean has it set up, and the players have developed enough chemistry where it's working. So we talk about the transfer window. We started out with a splash. As soon as the transfer window opened, Patrick Ajman is gone. He's going out to Derby County, $10 million. Insane. Let's go. I think that was best for Patrick Ajman. You talked a little bit ago about that Red Bulls playoff game where they smacked us. It was against the Red Bulls that Patrick Ajman had his breakout game. And he scored, what was it, like a brace? He put the team on his back in a losing effort. And that was his MLS debut. Welcome to the world, Patrick Ajman. You're not our little secret anymore. Everybody else can see what you can do. And against Red Bulls, this time we have Toklomati, who is our next big thing. He's our next Patrick Ajman. This is a player that could sell for $10 million. You cannot look at his recent performance and talk me off the ledge for Toklomati. Sky's the limit with this kid. You know, the MLS guy, okay? I'm not saying he's going to be like Premier League, Champions League top scorer, but he has the tools where in the right system, he can be fantastic. And I could see him playing potentially in a Big Five league in Europe. So Toklomati is off the table, Zoran Cornetta has said on the record. We will not entertain offers for Toklomati. He's going to be with Charlotte for a long time. That's the club's official stance, is that there were 2 or 3 players who Charlotte received offers for that they would not entertain, and Toklomati was one of them. So that's what we got, and I don't think we need to harp on that too much longer. You mentioned Kerwin Vargas. It looks like he's the starter for Charlotte FC now. And he's in a timeshare with Liel Abada. And that timeshare started out in Abada's favor, and it has flipped to now Vargas's. Another interesting tidbit, and this is all shout out Carol Rogers, who got these quotes. Zoran said that we're looking at a 2 DP, 4 U22 DP setup for the MLS roster rules. And he said, it looked like he said 2 DPs, BL is not one of those DPs, and Liel Abada was not listed either. So I don't think Liel Abada is with Charlotte FC for much longer. Honestly, I like Liel to an extent. He's not my favorite player. I love that he came from Celtic, but even with Celtic, he wasn't necessarily the right fit, and obviously with off the pitch issues, was not able to continue his career there. But right now, Cole, there's a term, surplus to requirements. I just don't see where Abada fits into this lineup. And it's kind of a champagne problem that you have a DP who is MLS starting caliber that you can't find a place for because the other options are
Yeah.
a better fit.
Yeah,
So,
man, and I want to say that I think that is a big shout out to Dean, and because a lot of managers out there, man, they're going to play their DPS regardless, and I think it shows a lot of tenacity. I think it shows a lot of will in Dean, and showing that he's not scared, man. It doesn't matter who you are, if you're not performing, you're going to sit on the bench, and we will find somebody who performs for this team. And dude, that I think that's big ups on Dean to see it, and when he see and not just to see it because anybody can see it, but to see it and then act on it and say no, we're going to put Kerwin. And it's paying off for him, man. Kerwin has been really really good. Obviously, the game winner in this match, but I think it's paid off for him, and I got to give props to Dean, man. I think it takes some big cojones to do what he's doing, and it's paying off for him.
yeah, man, Kerwin Vargas is, to me, such an experience. He's, I think, the more realistic version of like a soccer player's dream. Everybody wants to be
Yeah.
the next Messi, right? They want to come up from a young age, be identified, become a superstar, and then become, the face of the game. But most players who achieve the professional level are not going to end up being your every match starter. They're going to come up and they're going to get a little bit of game time. They're going to have to prove themselves time and time again. They're going to have to fight for their playing time, fight for their place, and show everybody what they're worth. And they're going to have struggles. They're going to have ups and downs. And that's the Kerwin Vargas experience. We
Yeah.
all can see his talent. We can see his promise. But the consistency has been an issue, and the development has taken longer than we expected. So I love Kerwin. Absolutely love him to death. He's endeared himself to Charlotte FC fans everywhere. I mean, he's one of our own at this point, and I'm happy to see him succeeding and winning this
Luke,
depth chart battle.
not to cut you off, I just want to say this. I think that when I think of Charlotte FC as its inception, with the team that we have now, to me, there's a big three that are Charlotte FC like guys, and it's Christian Kahlina, Brant Bronico, and Kerwin Vargas. They're the three most tenured guys that's been with this team, and when I think of Charlotte FC and I think of the good days, the good old days, that's the three from this team that I'm still thinking of, and like you said a minute ago, dude, Kerwin's a fan favorite, man. I had a buddy of mine that used to go to church with. He took his son to his first ever match against Red Bull, and I asked him, obviously how did he like it, all that good stuff. I asked him, I said, who's his favorite player? He said, the guy with the backflips, the guy that does the backflips. And I love to see it, man. I've been high on Kerwin for a couple of seasons. He wasn't consistent at all last season. He was kind of inconsistent to start the season, but I think he's found his groove, man. Sorry to cut
Yeah.
you off.
No, you're absolutely right. He's marketable because, I mean, first of all, let's just say it. He's adorable. He's a good looking. He looks like a kid, right? Like he
Yeah,
looks like a
he's like,
lovable
yep,
kid.
just have fun.
I mean, it's not just his baby face. It's the passion, the love of the game that you can see when he plays. The backflip. It's so marketable, but like that's his energy. That's his enthusiasm. And it just explodes out of him when he scores a goal. If you love this game, that's Kerwin Vargas, baby. Like that's what you want to see out of a player on your team. You want to see that passion. Um, Now, I will kind of move on a little bit. We got to keep it moving here. Starting lineup today did not have Suleiman Doumbia. Now, Doumbia was a recent addition to Charlotte FC. At the beginning of the season, he was brought in to shore up the left back position after questions about Tim Ream. There was going to be availability issues. Nathan Byrne goes out injured. We had to bring somebody in. We're bringing Doumbia, and our back line has been rotating and tap dancing and trying to find some kind of consistency all season. Doumbia went out injured once with a light injury and then a more serious injury. I think he got back on the field once and then got injured again. And so he hasn't really, in the glimpses we've had, I was very optimistic, very high on Doumbia because he connects well with Zaha and there was good overlap play, but he wasn't reliable. So I had mentioned in a previous episode that Claudio Bonus had put out a rumor that he may not be with the club for much longer. I didn't hear that confirmed by other sources, but Claudio, good on you. That one came true, and you were absolutely correct. Track record looking good on the rumor front, and Suleiman Doumbia has parted ways with Charlotte FC. Charlotte FC actually bought out the remainder of his contract, so that frees up his roster spot completely without us having to find a trade partner. That's a MLS mechanism that a team can take advantage of, I think, 2 or 3 times a year. And we did that with Doumbia. We might have also done it with George Marks, who we let go as a goalkeeper. In his place, Harry Tuffalo is starting, and he comes to us from the UK. I believe I heard on the broadcast that he's played at the top 4 levels of English football. So he's been all
Yep.
over the place, and he's much beloved with his previous team. You love to see that from an incoming player. And what'd you think about Tuffalo in this game?
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was fine. I mean, he played a 6.4 on Foot Mob, but I, 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 I mean, he got his debut the in the RSL game, come on for a few minutes, and I think he was fine. You know, obviously Nathan Byrne is going to be your starter on one of the either right back or left back. He played right back this game, left back the previous game, and I like Jaquil Marshall-Ruddy. I think he's been really. I think he's at times been really, really good, and I think times he's been average. I think Tuffalo brings you a lot more experience, a lot more IQ, if you will, and just that second nature when defending and being able to back up and replace a center back when need be. And on that left side, we've seen it. Tim, bless his heart, he's not as young as he used to be, and getting down on that left side if he's playing left center mid or center back, and he gets pulled out, being able to cover him up because he needs it. And but I think he looked decent. He got the start this match like you said a few minutes ago. He only played the first half. Jaquil did come in the second half. Jaquil played well as well. I mean, I think this is like you said, it's we have a for the first time with the back line, we have some options. Obviously, Suleiman come over from Standard Liège, and he's no longer with the club. But with Andrew Privet, Milan Nareem, Nathan Byrne, Tuffalo, this is we're finally got some depth,
Yeah,
and I'm gonna say that by the end of the season, the playoffs, all that good stuff, Tuffalo's probably gonna be your starter. Definitely as he integrates with his team and he learns Zaha on that left side, and his link up play with him and how he figures that out. How I promise you, Zaha's gonna let him know. We all know that where he wants the ball, what he's looking at, and then just his relationship with Christian Kahlina and what Kahlina expects of him. Because make no mistake, he is the leader of this defense, and what he expects from him. I think by the end of the season, you're probably going to see him starting out there at left back.
yeah. With Tuffalo, he only played the first 45 minutes. He subbed out right before halftime. He did not make it to the halftime break. On the sideline, he looked really gassed. I don't know if it's just working his way back up on playing time or what the deal is, but you kind of expect your left back to go most of, if not the entire game. So we'll keep an eye on the Tuffalo situation. Also in the back line, we mentioned Adilson Malanda. has been traded to Middlesbrough in the UK, and the fee looks like 8 million plus potentially 2. He could be right in that same range with Patrick Ajimon. How do you feel about that trade, the sale of Adilson Malanda, the timing, the loan back?
Yeah, I mean, look, man, we all love Adilson. He has been an absolute treasure that we have found in the back line back there. Ever since he's slotted in that center back position, he has been so good for Charlotte FC. And it was only a matter of time. It's a very similar thing to Patrick. He's in his young 20s. He's 23 years old, and he's just been absolutely integral to this back line and the mainstay and the best player realistically on this back line. Maybe Nathan Burke can give him a run for his money, but it's gonna suck to see him go. But I get it. It's the same thing with Pat, man. When you got these young players, hey man, like you said a minute ago, it might be the same thing with Edon here coming up in the next year or so, and that's why you brought in Archie from Australia because unfortunately you get young players and they perform very well, they're gonna want to go to Europe, and that's understandable, and I get it. The goal eventually would be the MLS would be a league where they don't want to leave. This is where they want to be. This is where they want to stay. But as of right now, man, you can't blame the guy. And you know, I'm reading right now, and he's the only outfield player in MLS to start all 27 matches and play every minute and with which includes 9 clean sheets this season. And I mean, he's helped throughout his career at Charlotte. He's helped hold teams scoreless 29 times across all competitions. Um, yeah, man, you can't say enough good things about Adilson. The best part about this deal, Luke, is that he gets to finish out this season and hopefully hopefully he can go out on a very, very special season with Charlotte FC and send them out the right way.
Absolutely. So another tidbit from Zoran, once again going back to Carol, who has some excellent reporting. Apparently, there were 2 clubs that sent better offers for Malanda, but they didn't have the trade or the loan back option for the remainder of the season. So that was the deciding factor that sent Adilson Malanda to Middlesbrough was the loan back feature and willing to let him stay here through, I guess, the beginning mid October at the earliest and the end of the year at the latest. So that got the deal done, and Charlotte FC took less money off the top to keep Malanda for the rest of the season. I think that's fantastic. That's great business. Shout out, thumbs up to the Charlotte FC office, absolutely killing it in this transfer window, in my opinion. You sell Malanda for a record transfer fee, one of the highest fees ever for an MLS defender, and you get to keep him for the rest of the season. You get to sell your cake and eat it too. That's fantastic. Um, we move back one spot here. Christian Kahlina, we talked about it coming into this game. I think, what was it, 4 clean sheets in league play?
But
And by
3
the
coming into this match, yeah.
my goodness, so 4 clean sheets in a row at the conclusion of this game, and Kalina put on another performance. I thought he had a fantastic game. He made some big saves, and Charlotte FC has quite a stretch. I think it's almost 400 minutes without allowing a goal by the end of this one. Christian Kalina, we said, solidifies his starting spot and is going on a great run of form at the right time because Drake Callender has been brought in from Miami. Inter Messi
Yeah.
has sent us their goalkeeper, MLS starting caliber goalkeeper. He was in the conversation for goalkeeper of the year, I think 2 or 3 years ago. This is a high level performer, and he's being brought into a team that has the reigning goalkeeper of the year, a solidified starter. Cole, tell me I'm crazy here, but reading between the lines, I don't know if Christian Kalina is going to be wearing the black and blue for much longer.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one, man. I mean, you get rid of Georgie Marks and you bring in Drake Callender, $750,000 and general allocation money, and I think I'm trying to figure out how to put this. I don't think Christian's going anywhere. I really don't. I think this is more of a depth piece. Now, make no mistake about it. If Christian Kahlina was to get moved on or something like that, Drake Callender is a really, really good goalkeeper. And I think this is I think this is also showing that they seen all they really needed to see from Bingham as well. And I don't know how much longer I think it's more of a tell on Bingham. I don't know how much longer Bingham's going to be here. And I think this is more of a depth piece. I don't personally think Christian's going anywhere. I think he is the face of this club. He's the only hardware that this club has won. He brought to the club last season. He's ranked third right now in MLS in saves per match. And it would be of anything of any position in MLS where a player is likely to stay in MLS because you can still get called up and play for your international team and all that good stuff. Is goalkeeper, and I think Christian's got it made right now. I don't know why he would leave. I don't think that you're bringing Callender in to replace Christian Kahlina. I think it's more of a telltale on Bingham, in my personal opinion.
Yeah. Now we talked. Yuri Tavares has left the club. That was kind of earlier, a little bit before the transfer window. João Pedro has been transferred away. He was out on loan previously in the season. Jack Neely filled in on a short-term agreement earlier in the season. But we do have one more big piece of transfer news here, and then maybe two smaller ones. To end the game after the 90th minute, we have Idan Toklumadi coming out to make way for a debutante. We have Archie Goodwin from the Australian A-League, the Golden Boot winner from Australia. And Archie gets a few minutes of gameplay at the end here, and I thought he looked full of energy. There was one possible opportunity that didn't come to fruition, but Archie Goodwin coming in. Cole, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, man, it's exciting. I think Edon needs that competition. I think he needs it in practice. And again, if you're wanting to make a playoff push, which at the conclusion of this game, Charlotte FC sits in fourth. Real quick, if you'd have told me that in May or June that Charlotte would have climbed all the way back to fourth, and you know what, Ashley Westwood, round of applause to Ashley Westwood. Obviously the season is not over. Obviously, a lot of things have to still go your way. You still have to take care of business. Inter Miami still has 3 games in hand on you. But he said that their goal is to still finish top 4. And, man, 7 in a row, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you can't complain about that. And so you sit in 4th, and with Archie coming in to add that depth to non-position, now that Big Pat's gone, I think it's a great thing. It's just like when Pat was here and we had Edon coming in to spell him or whatever. It's the same thing, man. What is the old saying? Iron sharpens iron. And if you think about that, if you literally think about iron sharpening iron, the process of that is just metal clanking and clanking and clanking and beating against each other until it's formed into something that you want and something that's perfect. And to me, for a number 9 position in MLS, I think that's what you need, man. I think definitely with 2 young guys. Don't get it twisted. These are 2 young players, and who can feed off of each other. If God forbid, knock on wood, one of them goes down with an injury, the other one is there, and you don't have that much of a drop off. Now, obviously, I'm saying all that, and it still is yet to be seen because MLS is a very physical league. And I would say I don't watch a lot of the A-League, but from what I've seen of it, it's very similar to MLS in that, in my opinion, is how physical the A-League is. And it's not a – I think MLS is a little bit more technical than the A-League. And him coming in, man, it still remains to be seen. But I think the energy and the competitiveness and just them two competing is going to be such a – I love Archie. I'm excited about Archie. Don't get it wrong, but I think this is a really, really good thing for Edon in the long run as well.
Absolutely. Well, Cole, the only other note I have about this game that does not tie into transfer news is that Brant Bronico was playing forward and he was getting some good kind of attacking positioning, some good looks. And early in the game, let me see if I see the time here. It was the 8th minute. He had the ball kind of going out of the attacking box, and there was an incident with a Red Bulls player, which on initial full speed viewing appeared to be a trip, and it looked like a clear cut penalty to me. VAR got a hold of it, and watching that in slow motion, it appears as though Bronico was running past the Red Bulls player, stuck his right foot out, tapped the Red Bulls player, and then dived to the ground, which to me in slow motion looked like textbook simulation. VAR overturned the penalty call on the field, rightly so in my opinion, and did not give Bronico a yellow for simulation. What was your take on that? Because obviously I viewed it as fair play, but what did you think?
No, I agree. I mean, I think it's kind of ticky taka. If I mean, I think it's fair play. I mean that's just that's just my analysis of it. I think it's fair play.
Yeah. He doesn't get the yellow for simulation. That's fine because, his foot could have gotten tripped up on the ball. I could see some doubt on that. So I'm okay with him not getting a yellow for simulation. Obviously, as a homer, I don't want a player to get a yellow, but it looked like he dived in the box to get a penalty from a spot where he had no shot at shooting the ball at goal. So a penalty would have been a little unfair, but that's the rules of the game. And then you see the slow motion replay, and like, good for Bronico, heads up play. Like, you got to take every advantage you can get. I understand, but that seemed a little excessive for me. That seemed like, when LeBron is pushing in basketball, suddenly he's on the ground. Like, oh, okay, LeBron. Like, we all know what's going on here. So that was my only other note. I think Tim Ream had a fantastic game. Speaking of just rounding out the transfer news, Jelani Forbes, the defender, has been loaned out to NCFC. Jelani, I believe, is a Carolinas boy, so letting him go to NCFC where he's going to get some playing time, I think that's a great move. We're putting him out on loan. And then, Cole, we have some breaking news. Wait, do we have a breaking news bumper? Do we have music? I'm being told by myself in the editing bay we do not have breaking news bumpers. Let me see if I can find one in post. Breaking news, Charlotte FC has acquired Rodolfo Aloco. And this player is a central attacking midfielder and slash right winger. It looks like he is from the African nation of Benin. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Honestly, I had to look it up because I'm very familiar with Nigeria and Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire. Benin is wedged right between those countries in Western Africa on the coast. It's a direct neighbor to Nigeria. I was just not familiar with it, and that's my own lack of, geographical learning. So my bad. Wasn't familiar with your game. We have a Cam from Benin now, and he's been playing in Croatia, of course, Cole, because we all know Charlotte FC is Croatia's official MLS team. So,
I just want to touch on something else about the Red Bulls game real quickly.
Sure.
And that is, with Brett Brodico starting more of a 10 role, it just makes me think about Pep for a second. And I just want to throw this out there. Pep hasn't played in like 3-4 matches now in a row because obviously he's out injured. And with that being said, still coming into this Red Bull match, Pep BL is still ranked first in MLS, not the Eastern Conference, in the MLS in chances created in all of MLS at 25 chances created. So that if that tells you how good Pep has been, and when we get him back and he's healthy, and this lineup with how good this team's playing, man, they're squeaking these games out 1-0. And that, but the attacking presence that Pep Biel gives you when he comes back, man, watch out. This team is going to hit another gear, in my opinion.
I completely agree. I completely agree. Hey, quick note on a loco. So this player is going to be joining as a member of Crown Legacy, and Zoran Kronetta in the interview said he's calling it the Crown Legacy mechanism. And what he's talking about is the MLS roster rules that limit on the first team the salary that you can have allocated for designated players and under 22 designated players. What Zoran is talking about with the Crown Legacy mechanism is that by signing them to our reserve team, they are not subject to the salary caps and restrictions that the first team is. So you can what I call stash a player with Crown Legacy and pay them their money unrestricted, but you just can't play them for the first team. You can develop them, you can get them used to the MLS style of play. They can train with the first team. They can have all the benefits of being on the first team. They just can't start for them for more than 4 games. So this Crown Legacy mechanism is what we used for Nikola Pekovic. And side note, Pekovic may be moving on to another destination because we'll talk about it. Koulibaly from Crown Legacy is being promoted to the first team. So there's got to be a roster spot to make up for that. So there's speculation that Pekovic's days may be coming to a close with Charlotte FC. But, we did that with Pekovic, Yuri Tavares. We have Idan Toklamati. A lot of these players that have played for the first team and have been impactful players have started with the Crown Legacy mechanism where we signed them, we held them there for 1 or 2 transfer windows, and then when the salary cap hit had diminished to the point that it made sense to put them on the first team roster or they were ready with their play on the field, we were able to move them up to Charlotte FC. So that is a loophole that teams use in MLS, and we're not the only team to do it, but I think we are one of the most successful teams to do it so far. And I think with the success of players like Ajaman, like Toklamati, I think you're going to see this mechanism get used more and more, and it's a major pillar of our team building. Of course, we utilize the Super Draft heavily. We use the Crown Legacy mechanism, and then we sign international players to come in. We don't really sign MLS talent, except for apparently Drake Callender. But, the big 3 pillars for us are Super Draft, Crown Legacy mechanism, and buying players from overseas. So it was announced today that the Carolina Panthers and Charlotte FC, as part of Tepper Sports, have signed a major new advertising deal with Whataburger. Cole, we just got our first Whataburgers in the Charlotte market. I'm familiar with Whataburger from traveling to Texas, and then we also had them when I lived in Alabama. All right, have you had Whataburger yet?
So the first time I ever had Whataburger was me and my wife's honeymoon in Panama City. We stopped by a Whataburger, but we actually just opened one up about 15 minutes from my house that we ate at the other day for the first time.
Fantastic. What'd you think?
And so yeah. I mean, it's good. I mean, if I'm gonna eat a fast food burger personally, I don't know if it's up in Charlotte or not, but Culver's. I don't know if you've ever had it, but
yep, Wisconsin.
Culver's is my favorite fast food burger. But you know what? Whataburger is nothing to sneeze at. I enjoyed it thoroughly, and yeah, I mean, I have nothing bad to say about Whataburger.
Now, if memory serves, it's been probably 10 years since I've had Whataburger. The tagline for Whataburger is like, it'll make you say, what a burger. Like, that's kind of like their tagline. It's more of like a flame grilled burger, more like you're like Burger King or Wendy's.
Yeah.
Now, Culver's, is that a smash burger?
Yeah, that's more of a smash burger. And I just their menu like with the cheese curds and stuff.
Oh
And
yeah,
I think the burgers are just really really good. We have I don't know if Hip Burger is a local thing to Greenville,
yeah. I'm
but
not
we
familiar with
also
it.
have we also have a place called Hip Burger, and it's a little bit more expensive. It's still fast food. It's a little bit more expensive burger, but they have a really really good burger as well.
Nice. I mean, look, I know Five Guys is kind of pricey for fast food. I think Five Guys has an amazing burger. Um, I don't get it very often at all. If you're gonna give me regular fast food, I mean, In and Out is fine. We don't have it out here like West Coast. I'm trying to think. Ones that I used to really like Smash Burger, but I feel like they went downhill a while ago. I think they got bought out by one of those like venture capital firms, and they just like stripped down the menu, and it's just kind of garbage. Um, I'll tell you what, man. Like honestly, not going to be a popular take, but uh, Burger King, it completely dropped off a cliff like 10 years ago. The service is terrible. You're going to spend like an hour in the drive-through line because one person is working in the store. But like, you know, is the food going to be sanitary? Maybe not. Does it taste amazing? Yeah, it still tastes amazing. Um, Miss me with McDonald's. They make it in an electric oven. It's not even a real burger. It's disgusting. Like I'll probably throw up if I have McDonald's. It's absolutely not a burger. It's oven cooked beef, which is gross. Um, but yeah, cookout. There we go. I think we can win some people over. I will have a good cookout burger once in a while, or the yeah, whatever. So we can move on from that. Whataburger, new official partner with Charlotte FC and the Carolina Panthers. And I am excited to have Whataburger again because, like I said, it's been over 10 years, so I need to reacquaint myself with their game out here in the Carolinas. We also have a Bucky's coming to Charlotte this year, so that's going to be exciting.
Oh,
Um,
ooh. Now Bucky's is different level.
yeah, yeah. You talk about Walmart for gas stations. That's what Bucky's is.
Yeah, it is, dude. We go every year. We go to the beach. We stop by the one in Florence,
Got to do it.
and
Yep.
I mean, it's just you got to do it and go in there and either get like a brisket sandwich or the little Bucky's, whatever they're called, the little Bucky balls or whatever. Like they're little like I don't even know how to explain it. What are they're almost like Cracker Jacks, but I don't know. But they're really really good. Their burritos are phenomenal. I will
I
say
will
that.
say they're from Texas, so they have kolaches, but they have the worst kolaches I've ever had in my life. I'll still get them because I love it's my favorite food, but like it's disappointing every time. Actually, out there in Greenville, you guys have Kolache Factory and Shipley Donuts. So shout out, those places are amazing. But we don't have those out here in Charlotte yet. I'm getting sidetracked here. What a burger for Charlotte, and then we also have Crown Legacy with a 6-0 win. Did you see anything about this, Cole? Because I was watching some of this on TV and it was crazy.
No, I kind of followed along on Twitter. I could not watch it unfortunately.
All good, man. Well, it's Crown Legacy, so we don't always give them as much attention. I have not been going to the games this season, just with my schedule changing and the kids being in school now. But let me tell you about this, man. It's Inter Miami 2. These are the Messi Juniors out here. They come up to the friendly confines of the Matthews Sportsplex. And Crown Legacy starts out. 12th minute. Dylan Singh. Absolute banger. He gets it. We fast forward to halftime. We have a 1-0 lead. And this is when things got crazy. You have Micah Thomas. I believe he's that super draft player we got this season. 47th minute, right out of halftime, boom, 2-0. 57th minute, Berchamus. Nympha scores his first, but not his last. 77th minute, Berchamus with a brace. 79th minute, literally 2 minutes. The ball restarted in play. Direct sequence back into a goal for Dylan Singh for his brace. And to cap it off in the 90th minute, Nympha Berchamus hat trick. Dude, 6-0 final. 5 goals in the second half. Absolute explosion. Crown Legacy is named the MLS Next Pro Team of the Week. My goodness, something in the water over there in Matthews. Incredible. I think the biggest win for Crown Legacy in their history might be tied, but it's definitely up there. What a game, man! The Charlotte FC Juniors, the Crown Legacy, are tearing it up. So I just want to give them a shout out because we don't talk about them enough on the show, and they're really putting one together out there. My boy Walker is back in goal. Isaac Walker. He's you remember him, the inaugural MLS Goalie Wars Championship. Give him the belt, Isaac Walker. When I run into him at games or whatever, we always say, "What's up?" Really cool dude. He's massive. The dude is like a prototypical goalie. I would love to see him get a shot with the first team because I think he has a ton of talent. He preserves the shutout. Birchmas with the hat trick. I mean, dude, this team is cruising right now. You got Brian Romero. Fans know and love Brian Romero. Micah Thomas looks like he's getting on. He had a goal and an assist from the left back position. So just shout out, man. Like, things are cruising. Birchmas only came on in the 57th minute, and he had a hat trick in the second half. Like, that kid is going places. My goodness, man. U.S. national team, youth national team, and we can move on. We can talk about Greenville Triumph now. So what do you got, Cole?
Yeah, so the last time we talked, Triumph were going to play their quarterfinal in the Jägermeister Cup against USL Championship side Indy 11. And they went up to Indy and went full-time 1-1 and went straight into penalties. And, Luke, we talked about the Independence Triumph game where it was just absolute hell on earth for both teams, where it was just one goal, this goal, this goal, this goal, and then in a dramatic fashion, Triumph won. I think it was like in the 96th minute of that game. Same thing this match, man. They were down 1-0 going into, I think, the 3rd minute of stoppage time and got an own goal and tied it up 1-1 and went straight into penalties. And this penalty match, or this penalty kick shootout, man, the Triumph started it off and that with the first kick and didn't miss a single kick, man. And the Greenville Triumph in penalties move on to the Jägermeister Cup in the Jägermeister Cup as they went on penalties 6-5 in penalties. And they will be taking on Hartford Athletic September 10th at 7:30 in the Jägermeister Cup semifinals, man.
Fantastic. Well, Charlotte Independence fans will recall we played them in the U.S. Open Cup last year and won in a penalty shootout. Massive game. I think it was the highest attendance of any Charlotte Independence game last season. So good luck. I hope you guys can repeat and get another win for the Carolinas against Hartford. Stick it to those Yankees. And yeah, man, Charlotte Independence fell. They had a really tough one against Union Omaha on the road. 4-1 defeat for Independence. And they are looking to keep their playoff hopes alive at this point. It's been a tough stretch, a lot of draws. They're going to look to turn that around. There's an upcoming game this weekend, I believe, against who are they playing? Portland Hearts of Pine up in Maine. So another New England side. And we'll see how that goes. We had a really competitive game against Portland when they came to visit us about a month ago. So this is the return fixture. And Charlotte Independence looking to keep their playoff hopes alive at this point and try to get some momentum going. Get a little slump buster against the, I only have nice things to say about the Hearts of Pine. I don't have time this week to do a return interview with their blog From the Forest to the Sea, I believe is what it's called. And they're fantastic up there, though. Massive supporters group, and that'll be a good one. One to definitely catch on ESPN Plus if you have the opportunity. That does it. Oh, hey, big news too on the Charlotte soccer front. Carolina Ascent are kicking off this weekend. They're opening their second USL Super League campaign against the Fort Lauderdale United FC in Florida. They're on the road for their opening game, but Carolina Ascent is the first women's professional soccer team in Charlotte, and they're at the same level as the NC Courage up in the Raleigh market. and they're fantastic, man. They won the league Players Shield last year, which means they were the top team in the league going into the playoffs. They fell on some questionable officiating in the semifinals of the USL Super League. So they're looking to improve on that this season. They've made a number of new signings, and tomorrow, well, probably when you guys are listening to this on Tuesday, they're having an event with the Charlotte Cats transportation system, and they are rebranding the Gold Line, the trolley line, to be a complete Carolina Ascent wrap. And there's a new partnership between Cats and the Carolina Ascent. So look out for that as you are driving through Charlotte. And big season ahead for the ladies. We're very excited. Season tickets are on sale. Shout out to that organization. They put on quite a show. I know the opening home game last year, I believe they had about 10,000 in attendance at American Legion Memorial Stadium. It is a hell of a time, fun for the whole family. Get out there, show them some love. And I think that does it for my soccer news. Cole, do you have any other items you want to touch on?
No, man, I'm good. We do have college football kicking off officially it kicked off this past Saturday with Kansas State and Iowa State.
From
But the
Ireland.
rest of the college football, yeah. So the rest of the college football world kicks off this Saturday. South Carolina, my beloved Gamecocks, will be playing Sunday in Atlanta against Virginia Tech, and I will be in attendance for that one.
Ooh. In Atlanta, yeah. I will also be in Atlanta in attendance for Syracuse and Tennessee. The front half of that doubleheader, I believe they're calling it the Geico kickoff now instead of the Chick-fil-A kickoff, Mercedes-Benz
Yeah.
Stadium. And I am so excited, man. Like, I can feel it in my bones. College football is here. I'm thrilled. I'm so excited. Getting to see my hometown Syracuse Orange play at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta is an experience I never thought I would have in my life. I'm beyond excited. I've had this on my calendar for the last 2 years, and it's finally game week. So excited. My girlfriend's going down. It's going to be her first game. Of course, we'll be in town for Dragon Con in Atlanta this weekend, and so it's going to be a whole weekend of nerd Mardi Gras type festivities with that football game right in the middle of it. So it's going to be a hell of a weekend. I'm so excited. And yeah, man, college football is here. I was watching those week 0 games, just getting back in the spirit of things. The game from Ireland is always a weird one. And Farmageddon between Kansas State and Iowa State, that's a weird kickoff game to have in Ireland, but I'm here for it. The Hawaii game, they beat Stanford at the last minute. That was a really good one. Um, Pretty cool.
Yeah,
Hawaii's kicker taught himself how to be a college football kicker from YouTube videos. He's an exchange student from Japan, and I actually saw that firsthand when I was growing up. We had our local college. Their starting kicker went out injured, and they just put out like an ad around campus for like, "Hey, we need somebody who can kick a ball." And one of the coaches was walking by the soccer field and saw this dude just boot the ball like 60 yards and was like, "Hey, you need to come over here and kick an American football." And it was a Japanese exchange student who had grown up playing soccer, and he became the starting kicker for the North Alabama Lions. Absolutely wild. Like he was automatic. I mean, the dude was a natural football kicker, but that soccer skill transfers over very well.
yeah, it does. Yeah, and the unfortunate thing for me is I know I always talk about Greenville and all this, but most of you know that I live in Clemson, and I'm not exaggerating when I tell you I live not even 3 minutes from Clemson's football stadium. And so this Saturday, Clemson hosts LSU
Yeah.
Saturday night. And, this place is going to be. I'm on shift at the fire department, so I will not even be in Clemson, thank the Lord above. But uh, because I'm telling you, trying to do anything when you just live in Clemson during a game day is it's a nightmare, man. And so my poor wife, she'll be stuck in the house. She will not be able to go anywhere.
Oh yeah, traffic's terrible. I'm looking forward to going to Clemson this season for a game. Syracuse will be in town. They have the hardest schedule in the country outside of the SEC. They're playing, I think, 5 playoff teams from last year, and all 5 of those games are on the road. Clemson is one of those games. So I'm going to look to travel down there for that one. Um, but I'm not looking forward to that traffic, man. Well, I think that just about wraps it up. Happy college football to all who celebrate. Thanks for joining us.
Reminder to stay tuned after the end credits here, after the music, for a special conversation with Danny Brams from the Charlotte Soccer Show. We recorded this the day before the transfer deadline ended, so not all of the transfer news is included, but it's a fun conversation, little bonus for you guys. We got an extra long episode here, so I hope you enjoy.
As always, this is the Queen City Soccer Show. You can find us on the internet, wherever you do social media. We're at QCS Pod or at QCS Pod _ on Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, you name it, man. We're out there. YouTube, TikTok. Find us, and we're going to keep on posting updates as we can. This is just a small effort here with this podcast between me and Cole, so whatever we can put out there, we will. And thanks for tuning in. That is my partner at Cole Godfrey. I am at LVL UP _ Luke. And until next time, folks, it is always
For the crown.
for the crown. All right, this is Level Up Luke. I'm here with Danny Brams from the Charlotte Soccer Show. Danny, how are you this evening? We have a lot of big moves going on.
I'm just kind of picking up the pieces, Luke. Trying to figure it all out here. It's kind of funny. This is a move we all knew was coming eventually, but now that it's here, it's kind of hitting kind of emotional, kind of surprising at the timing of it, maybe, I guess you'd say.
Absolutely. So we talked about before the season, I know the two of us, we run into each other, Hopfly Brewery, some tailgates throughout the Charlotte FC season. And we've talked about Adilson Malanda and the talent level that Charlotte has with the center back. And breaking news from Tom Bogert from some UK sources that Adilson Malanda is making a move to Middlesbrough, and they are loaning him back to Charlotte FC for the rest of the season. The number I'm hearing, is 8 million plus.
Yeah, 8 million plus add-ons and a sell-on clause is pretty nice. It's a nice little bit of business for the club. Who, I mean, if I remember right, Malanda was a summer add-on, right? He came in the summer window in 2023, if I'm not mistaken, right? And was kind of a young prospect at the time, and to be able to flip him and turn around for 8 million plus with the sell-on clause it's pretty tough to resist for an MLS club for a center back, especially because it's not a league that prides itself on big money defenders, you could say.
Yeah, and I had tongue-in-cheek joked about like he could be a $15-20 million player, but I think realistically, if we're looking at, like you said, the market for a center back, 8 million seems pretty impressive coming from MLS. Do you, just off the top of your head, like, can you recall another MLS defender who went for that kind of money, like 10 million plus? Because I'm drawing a blank.
Not off the top of my head. I'm trying to think. George Campbell, right, recently went from Montreal. He might be the most recent comp, and I don't remember the number on him, so forgive me for not having that. But
no, hey, no prep here.
Austin Trusty, yeah, Austin Trusty went from Colorado to Sheffield United a couple of years back. I remember that. But I was surprised by the 8 million. I was thinking, when I heard the news that he was sold, I was like, oh, we probably got like 4 or 5 million. Then I saw the 8, and I was like, oh, we're pretty not bad, you know.
And it's a move that is not unexpected, but it is still in the moment surprising, is the way I would say it, because even last season, I said that we'd be lucky to keep Adilson Malanda throughout the year, and we did, and we kept him through the offseason. But after that, the longer we can keep him with Charlotte FC, the better for us, in my opinion. And obviously the partnership with Andrew Privet in the center back role there, and now that's kind of in flux with Tim Ream. Do you think this has an impact on the locker room when you have this kind of cornerstone of our defense signing a deal with another club, but staying in place in Charlotte for the remainder of the season?
Mm, I actually think it will have a positive impact on the locker room. I think everyone will be really happy for Addy, and they'll be cheering him on. And he has a long runway to take off and find set himself up for the journey, the next stage. He's gonna, I'm sure there'll be a lot of jokes being cracked, like, oh, what do you care, Melanda? You're out of here in a few months anyway, that kind of stuff, like, but it'll be good natured. I don't think anything of it will be spiteful, and it should be motivating for a guy like Privet to be like, all right, it's time to lock down this spot. Like, it's like Privet, who began the season as a starter and then has pretty much lost his place due to some mistakes and new signings. I think that it's Milan and Reem are the combo for the rest of the stretch run here for Charlotte, pending injury. And I just think this is if I'm Andrew Privet right now, I'm going extra hard in the gym and saying, I don't want Charlotte to bring in another center back, from outside the club. I want to be the guy that locks down the spot next to Tim Ream now for 2026. So all in all, I think that's all good things. I think that will only serve to motivate and show young players that there is a pathway to Europe here and things like that. So all in all, I think good vibes. I think this whole setup, the way it's being reported right now, is a positive impact on the Charlotte FC locker room for the rest of the year.
I could absolutely see that, and that's kind of like an optimistic scenario for me. So I would love to see that. We're in a unique position right now because you look at a 6-game winning streak, 7 unbeaten. This is rarefied air for Charlotte FC as a franchise. What does this streak mean to you by itself, and then like kind of in the context of the season? Because we have roughly like a third of the season remaining, and we have this streak going, but we've seen the ups and the downs of the season so far. So going into the most crucial stretch of games, this winning streak, how do you feel about it in its own context, and then within the season as a whole? Because you've talked about a season within a season in your
it's all
your
about
preseason
stages of the
preview.
campaign. You got to ride the waves. It's a long journey. I think it's less than a third. I mean, it's less than a fourth. There's only 7 games left in the regular season. 4 at home, 3 on the road for Charlotte FC. And, in a 34 game season, I think regular season, that's like 20% is all that we got left. So, it's definitely down the stretch run. The winning streak came at a huge time. I think it's interesting if you go back, 6 games ago and look at the standings, the table. You'll see Charlotte hasn't really moved up too far on the list as far as place. I think they were 9th place 6 games ago, and they're now in 7th. And like, man, you win 6 games in a row, historic win streak, and you only move up 2 places in the table. What's going on? Well, the East is tough. They would be 4th right now in the West. They're 7th in the East, and regardless, even though the places have not improved, the margin has improved. They've gotten, they're closer to first place in points by a lot than they were 6 matches ago, obviously. So that's good. And it couldn't have come at a better time because I honestly felt like in May, everyone, the team kind of downplays and like, yeah, we had a little bit of a rough patch in May and June. That was a season killer in May and June. And
Yeah.
granted, the MLS schedule did them no favors, but this team was crashing out of the playoffs. And so the 6-game win streak is great because it was extremely necessary. Like without it, we'd be all scratching our heads wondering like, where the hell is this club going? Now it feels like we're in the midst of a playoff push, but it could have been a hell of a lot worse without this win streak.
Yeah, and I posted on Twitter earlier today the ESPN power ranking that has us 9th in the power ranking in MLS, which is a great place to be. And I took for granted last season with us being floating around that like 5 to 7 in the power ranking. I got very attached to that type of ranking. So seeing us dropping down into the teens and even around 20 in the power ranking earlier in the season kind of hurt me. I stopped looking at it, but I checked it today for the first time in probably months, and they had us at 9th. And I thought, man, we won 6 in a row, and we're at 9th in a power ranking. We have the best form in MLS. And the first line was, very few teams have better recent form than Charlotte FC. So I pulled up Transfer Market, which has a sortable graph by recent form, and
Nice.
we're number 1 in MLS in recent form. The last 6 games, we're unbeaten, and it's a 6-game window for recent form on that website. So I took a screenshot, sent it to the author of the post from ESPN, freelance, who also works for Men in Blazers. Very good soccer journalist from my experience with her. I think she's fantastic. But I was just like, hey, I saw you said very few have better recent form. Can you just give us the recent form? Because that's all we got. Okay, that's what we got right now with Charlotte FC
Exactly.
is our recent form.
I
Can you
thought
just give us
power
credit?
rankings were supposed to be based off recent form, right?
Yeah, right. So I did a little post with some screenshots there, but like it's all in good fun. So much as one of my hobby horses, if you will, is Charlotte FC's perception in the nationwide media. And when we're not getting enough respect, I try to call that out because we are a middle
Yeah.
market franchise. And the lack of respect, we're not an LAFC, we're not a Red Bulls or NYCFC. Like, we're not one of those clubs that's going to get the automatic attention. God forbid, Inter Miami. Like, we're not going to get the clicks or the attention unless those national kind of thought leaders put us in those positions. So calling them out in a place where they'll see it, like their replies, like their Twitter, their Blue Sky, their Facebook, Instagram. When you call them out in those spots where they actually do pay attention to their mentions and you remind them, hey, we exist. Hey, we're here. Hey, here's some data you may have missed. I feel like that may impact the conversation. Now, you're a producer with ESPN as a day job, and this is not me speaking out of school. You've mentioned that on your podcast before. From
Yes,
that
sir.
perspective, as somebody who's involved in the media, do you think that fan interactions respectfully with national commentators and personalities, do you feel like that can move the needle, or is that something that should be avoided?
I think it depends on the personality. Some people are going to be open to feedback and others aren't. But I do think that if you're talking in general, like most national commentators are so used to like the overwhelming negative feedback that they get on a daily basis that if they are paying attention, then they are going to react positively to thoughtful, fair, just having a conversation here. I'm not trying to, there's so many people that are like, yeah, you're so horrible, that they get so used to that. So if you can just be like, hey, really respect you, don't agree with this take, here's why, what do you think about it, and can engage with them. Not every single media member is going to be like that, but a lot of them are. So yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with it. And again, people don't join the media to avoid conversations, and avoid attention and things like that. So I mean, they put themselves out there with their career, and also no, there's no such thing as bad publicity. Any interaction is good interaction in social media, right? So yeah, I think you're fine. I don't think you have anything to worry about there.
Well, I feel like it's a natural segue. We're talking about commentators, and I agree with you because I've had some great interactions with, especially the national media in terms of college football. One of my little like just on the inside, hang my hat on little spot of pride was that I had a lot of national college football writers following me, and I am not somebody whose opinion is worthwhile. But that was kind of like, oh well, I just interact with them enough; they followed me. That's pretty cool. Um,
Yeah.
Speaking of though, and natural segue, Roman Harper was the coronation for the recent Charlotte FC game. I heard through the grapevine that you were kind of instrumental or you played a role in this process. Can you
Oh,
share any
just
behind the
yeah, just
scenes?
came through in the clutch. Yeah. Well, I do work with Roman at SEC Network, which is housed at the ESPN office here in Charlotte, down in the Ballantyne area, and Roman is just a really good dude. He's very, for a Super Bowl champion NFL star, he's very laid back and chill and loves Charlotte. When I first met him, he was like, they say Brant Bronico's the mayor. Roman Harper's the mayor because he just absolutely is
Whoa.
adored around here. Anytime I have gone to a bar with him or whatever, people are coming up to him, we love you, Roman, we love you. And he was more of a saint than a Panther, in a lot of eyes. At least he won the Super Bowl there. So,
Yeah, yeah.
but Panther fans love Roman, and so myself and another one of my coworkers who were both Charlotte FC season ticket members, we were just like, hey, like, and I, through the work with the Charlotte Soccer Show podcast, I have some contacts with people that work in the club communications. So it's different departments, but I went through the communications people, got in touch with the game day presentation celebration folks, and I said, hey, I am friends with Roman Harper. Would you be interested in him as a coronation? And they said, yes, of course. Former Panther, we'd love it. They probably could have got him without me. Obviously, I'm sure. I'm sure that Tepper Sports Entertainment has contacts to former Panthers if they need them. But maybe they just needed the idea, or they needed to know that Roman was all about it. So that's where I came in and just put two good groups of people together and made it work, and that was great because I got to ride shotgun and hang with Roman and his family on the night and sort of do some of the pregame setup and chill in the vault for a little bit while the ceremony was going on. Got to meet his kids and whatnot, and that's cool since I consider him a friendly acquaintance, and
Work friend.
through work, and yeah, so great to meet his family a little more and have a good night, and we had a ball. It was fantastic. Yeah. And Roman killed it. Like, what I love about Roman is he really embraced the coronation thing. He did the Stone Cold Steve Austin double beer chug, kind of lit the whole scene on fire, which was great. He said, like, he's like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it big. And we're like, okay, go
Hell
big. And
yeah.
he told the people, the planners and the crew that works the pregame entertainment and things like that. He's like, I think I'm going to chug a beer up there. And one of the
Ooh.
people was like, that's a great idea. And one was like, I'm not sure you can do that. So it was kind of a little bit of a mixed message there, and he was always going to go there. And I knew he was going to try to chug the beer. I didn't realize he was going to do two beers. So I didn't realize he was going to do Stone Cold. It was absolutely epic. It was great. And he had a good time. And yeah, Roman's the man, and he's he's a soccer dad. His kids play soccer, so he's not a total stranger to football. But yeah, good times.
Bro, you completely stole my thunder because my next question was, can you tell me about the celebration and how did it come about? And you jumped right in, and you're on top of it, man. You're reading ahead on the script. ESPN is known for having a script of professional sports. They know how everything's going to go. They maximize the drama. That's ESPN's conspiracy theory, and you are proving the point here. Reading ahead of my questions on my side, I love to see it. So the instant response I had to that was, well, they said I couldn't have a beer, but they didn't say I couldn't have two beers. So
Right,
Roman
exactly,
Harper, the Stone
exactly.
Cold, oh my God, like that was an all-time Charlotte FC moment in my book. And following on the heels of the Paul Feinbaum coronation, where you guys did the ESPN style commercial, and listeners of a
Yes,
certain
yep.
age will remember those ESPN commercials that were like comedy sketches. You guys did a fantastic one with Paul Feinbaum, which might be, dare I say, my favorite Charlotte FC media marketing production that I've ever encountered. The Roman
Hey, well, there you
Harper
go.
one was pretty fantastic. Like, where did those come from?
That is all the club. The club brainstormed all that. We told them we helped set up the availability and like welcomed them down to our offices, and they wrote the scripts and everything and staged like the sketches they want to do, which is great. And Eric Krakauer came. Him and Minty are sort of like
Yeah, Minty.
they make a really great team. So yeah, that it was pretty awesome to see for sure. The club has some very creative people working on the social side, and they continue to shine. I think anyone who's a Charlotte FC fan knows just how great the club's social team tends to be on a very consistent basis.
When I see Eric Krakauer and Sir Minty, my first thought is like Seth Meyers and Stefan. But like I know they would probably like it better if I said it was like Starsky and Hutch or something. But the two of them are
Yeah, right.
fantastic. Just a duo for the ages. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
It seems like it's almost like a bromance. It's fantastic. Is Krakauer in on the writing of those sketches, do you think?
Uh, I don't know that I cannot comment on. I just know that the social with it, and I assume he's part of it, but I'm not sure.
All good. Well, hey, man, I've kept you long enough here. I mean, I would love to go for another hour, so time constraints, it's up to you. Do you want to keep going or do you want to call it here?
Let's call it here because I think the dust is still settling from this Milanda thing. My head is still kind of spinning on it, but it is good to get some early thoughts out there, and I think we're all going to be like, I feel like when you and I have this conversation offline, like later this week ahead of the next home match, we might even feel a little bit differently about it. But right now, I think I think it's mostly good, just because I think it was inevitable. We were never going to hold on to the guy, but it was great to get a big sale price for him, and I'll go look up some of those numbers that I didn't have at hand here for this conversation, as far as what George Campbell sold for and what Austin Trusty sold for, and maybe there are a few other center backs to add to that list. But all in all, it's a great bit of business for Charlotte, because we were probably going to lose Malanda anyway.
Yeah.
This way, we lock in the sale price, but still get him for the rest of this year. Can't really complain about that. And I think he's going to be locked in for the stretch run. I think he's going to want to. I don't think it's going to be like, oh well, I got my big move secured. I'm not going to try very hard. I think he's going to still play his ass off, and still be one of the best communicators on that back line. We're still going to see him, yelling at dudes and pointing them out where to go. And we're sad, but it's going to be all about the replacement. I do think the hot take thing that we should work on, and before we finish, for sure, I'd love to just get your response to this. Which sale, when you talk about Malanda and
Yeah.
Ajimong as the two big outgoings for the club this window, um, we've been able to bounce, as much as we all love Pat as a person and as a great player. There's no shade on him as a player. We have not missed his production, because Toklamati has kept the scoring clip up. We're continuing to get goals every other match from the striker position. I don't think it'll be quite as easy to replace Malanda, so we'll see. I mean, I hope Privet can be that guy, but who knows, right?
Yeah. So I think your question, if I'm understanding it, is out of the transactions, which one has been the biggest outgoing for Charlotte FC?
Yeah, which one will be which will hurt the club the most, I guess. I think it's an obvious answer.
Impact
Maybe,
the
yeah.
club the most.
Impact, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because you got to take in the incoming that they've balanced it out with, right? Because we have Goodwin and Tuffalo. Tuffalo? How do you say the name?
Tafolo or Tafolo, yeah, Tafalo, I think is the best way
Toffolo.
to say it.
Yeah, that's what I said in the last episode, and for some reason my tongue drew a blank on that. But
Yeah.
I had the joke: if we can't get Mark Ruffalo, better to get Harry Tuffalo. Um,
Yeah.
that was my
Well,
name
Toffolo is
association.
like so beloved by Nottingham Forest fans. Like they haven't stopped talking about how much they miss him, even though he barely played for them last year. So there you go.
And I'm on record as saying that's one of the best metrics to evaluate a transaction is what did the fans of the other team say about the trade? Because obviously Ajman leaves, and me, like only speaking for myself, I'm putting out there on socials like, oh my god, I can't believe he's leaving. I love him so much. Like, I want to see that reaction from the fans. And if they're saying good riddance, glad to have him off the books, that's a different kind
Right.
of transaction.
We
Um,
call we call that the Brecht de Agra,
oh, hey,
Sorry, Brecht.
we respect
When he
his
came,
time with
when
the
Brecht
club.
came over, everyone at I think it was Toulouse that he came from, right? Was like,
Yeah,
you go,
yeah.
Brecht, you go have fun in America, and there was not a lot of, oh, we're gonna miss you. So
Well, I mean, to be fair, Zaha was kind of the same because the clubs he was with were poverty franchises. Poverty
right.
millionaires, billionaires, whatever the case may be. Fenerbahce and what was it, Lyon? So,
Yeah, yep, Lyon and Galatasaray.
oh,
Yeah, yep,
Galatasaray. Yeah. Well, same
yep.
same difference to me being
Right.
a dumb American, but yeah. So I
Somewhere
would.
over there in Southeast Europe. Yep.
Yep. So very impactful transactions. Offloading Ajman, which with his star rising with the U.S. national team and no extension on the contract, we all saw that coming. That was one that we were expecting and hoping for. Really, if there wasn't going to be an extension, you would want the club to get something for it rather than him leaving on a free transfer. So to me, Ajman for Goodwin is good business because you have an up and coming Golden Boot winner or Golden Boot competitor, at least from the A League in Australia, coming in, and he's a guy that can compete with Tokulmati, not necessarily going to take his place. And Tokulmati has already matched or exceeded Ajman's production for this season already. So I love that move. I think that's good business. It adds to our depth. It gives us options, and it doesn't replace Ajman, but it brings in the next Ajman potentially. So I love that
Yeah.
business. And then you look at Malanda, and we have depth at center back. And I think you're going to see a permanent shift of Ream to center back where he is much better. So I think that benefits the team that we get a center back playing center back now instead of playing left back. And bringing in Mark Tuffalo is fantastic in
Harry,
the sense that
Harry. I know you
Harry,
got the Mark Ruffalo
jeez,
thing going on, but
dude,
yeah,
I was
yeah,
trying so hard to get Tuffalo right that I blanked on the first name and went with the name association. So yeah,
Well, yeah, it
getting
was
him
your
in
your whole joke. You know
right.
that's my secret, Luke. I'm always angry. You know what can I say?
That's my secret. I'm always doing name association.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
so getting him in at left back though provides depth, and it gives us. I believe he's left-footed, so it gives us a natural position player on the left side, which is what we've
Yeah,
needed because Andrew Privet and Jaquil Marshall-Ruddy are great and they can fill in, but that's not their position, and they don't have the physical attributes to play that position at a high level, right?
right. Yeah, I mean I think Privs can be the guy. I think he's had a rough year compared to the last year and a half that where he played extremely strong and like out of his head really if you consider his
Yeah.
experience level. I mean, there's not many guys that can tell his story, have the story he's had and find their way as a regular starter. And he's lost that status for now, but he can definitely get it back. I mean, if I think if Dean Smith could lock in Ream, Burn,
Burn.
Toffolo,
Yep.
Burn, Ream, Privet, Toffolo for the
Yep.
next for 80% of next year's matches. I think he would probably do that, but I do think there may be a push to get someone who's a quote unquote upgrade on Privet, but I think Privet could be that guy himself. So we'll see.
Well,
It depends how Andrew reacts, and I'm such a huge fan of Privet, and I'm friendly with his family also. So that's my bias is that
yeah,
I'm always gonna pull for him, but
he's one of our own.
I certainly could not be mad at my objective hat would say if there's fans out there who are like we need someone better than Privet, I get it, but I have faith that Privet can be that guy.
I'm hesitant to relate or empathize too much with that opinion because you know who I heard that opinion exposed about or expounded about for a very long time was Brant Bronico. It was always we can do better than Brant Bronico. You know who's
Right.
been the backbone, the heart of this club since it fucking started? Brant Bronico. So
Yeah.
Andrew Privet, he's not as charismatic. He's not the guy that's going to have the mohawk or the mullet hawk like Brant Bronico, but Andrew Privet is a foundational piece of this defense for the current iteration of
Yeah.
Charlotte FC.
Agreed.
So I love Andrew Privet, and he's one of our own. He's I believe a Carolina boy, right?
No, he's from up in the Maryland area and
Maryland.
Pennsylvania
Okay,
area. Like
close
he
enough.
used to
Mid
play, or excuse me,
Atlantic.
not Maryland. I mean to say, sorry.
Well, he went
He
to
used
Penn
to
State.
play youth league against Ben Bender, and then Bender ended
Oh,
up
wild.
going to Maryland. That's why I accidentally slid Maryland. But no, he's from he went to Penn State and he played
Yep.
youth ball growing up in
Your
that
boy
area.
Johnny Hayes, big Penn State guy, right?
We are.
Well, not we, but yeah, they are Penn State. So let me ask you this, because kind of sidetrack here. Have you heard anything about Solomon Doumbia? Because I have heard rumors on this front with the injury situation this year that he may be departing the club at some point. Have you heard anything one way or another on that?
Uh, I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, he unfortunately he looked really good when he came in, and he was a guy that was kind of brought in on an emergency needs basis and played really well, but then got hurt. And then when he got hurt, they brought in Jaquil Marshall-Ruddy behind him, and now they've signed Harry Toffolo, and it's like I can see that Dumbia's time might he might have lost his job due to injury, basically, unfortunately. Which
Well,
people say that doesn't happen, but it does.
and he takes up an international roster spot, and we know in MLS that can make a difference because we're trading GAM,
Right.
we're trading international roster spots, and the way this club with Zoran has been focusing is that we're not bringing in MLS talent by and large. We're focusing on European and international position players. So we need those spots are valuable and they're limited.
Yeah.
So I you know I heard a rumor that he may be outgoing this cycle, and so far I've not heard any substantial updates on that. But like you said, I wouldn't be surprised if Sulaiman Doumbia had a very short and, while promising, overall unimpressive due to injury career with Charlotte FC.
Yeah. We'll always have those 2 spin moves that he did in his debut for the club that that were very impressive. The guy he looked amazing for a couple games, and then unfortunately was
Well,
gone.
I mean, that I have the media credentials. I don't usually attend the media sessions. I get the majority of my Charlotte FC presser information from the Charlotte Soccer Show Decoding the Presser on YouTube,
Oh,
and
well,
that's
that's kind
hosted
of you. I'm
by.
going to do one for Archie Goodwin at some point this week. Yeah.
Oh, dude, I hope you do, because that was 19 minutes for that presser, and I'm not watching all that. So I want to hear some Danny Bram's commentary, and I can focus on it. So with who was it? Harry Toffolo. He in his presser on the Decoding the Presser, I heard that he said that he had played against Wilfred Zaha a number of times and was very excited to not have to do that again playing in MLS. And
Right.
they could be playing on the same side of the field. One thing I love about Sulaiman Doumbia is that he's on that left side and he had a great connection with Zaha. They seem to have really good chemistry on that left side. Do you think that Toffolo, with his experience playing against Zaha, do you think that benefits in any way, or is it just like throwing a new left back in there? Because I don't know. I don't know if he's an overlapping player. I don't know if he has that kind of style that we're looking for on the wings.
I think they showed some connection. I think he only got 10 minutes against RSL, but they showed some love. I think anytime you're getting, Premier League players in to your lineup to link up, I said that from the very first match that Wilfred Zaha played this season, when I saw a sequence that went like Ream to Westwood to Zaha, and they moved the ball down the pitch to create an early chance. I was like, wow, three Premier League players just touched the ball for Charlotte FC. That was amazing
Yeah.
to me, and it's only continued as the season has gone on, and um, yeah, it's great. I think it's fantastic. I believe we're the most British club in the league. I think we have the most
Yeah.
British players, plus the British helps as well. And I will say this, Luke, I'm just seeing this sort of popped up on my as I
Oh
was sitting
no,
here talking about this. We can wrap on this maybe
it's gonna be a
because
surprise.
Soccer Sheet, our boy Sam Spencer, is reporting. He says per sources, but I don't know what those sources are. But he says Malanda will be the biggest defensive sale in MLS history, which that would be absolutely incredible if this
That's
8
what
million
I
number is
suspected.
true.
Yeah.
Without looking it up, for Sam to call it the biggest sale in history, that's pretty impressive. I mean, obviously inflation plays a part in that, but it's not bad. And it's cheap for Boro. It works out great. It's like so much money for us, and it's like cheap for a championship club. It's kind of funny, but there it is.
Well, I mean, hey, we can have a whole nother episode about MLS roster rules. Danny Brams, you're a fucking ledge. Tell the folks where they can find your podcast, where they can find you on social media. Go ahead, give me your plugs, because they're well deserved.
Plugs
You
are.
guys,
It's all about the plugs are Charlotte Soccer Show on YouTube and at For the Crown Baby on Twitter, Charlotte Soccer Show on Blue Sky, Charlotte Soccer City on Instagram. We like to change it up, keep people you gotta remember what the right names are. Great social media policy to have different names on everything, but that's the way we do it, because it's for the true fans. And subscribe to us on YouTube. That's the best thing you can do if you want to support what Charlotte Soccer Show is doing, for sure. That's the number one way.
hell yeah. Well, I subscribe on YouTube. I try to watch your live broadcasts. Comment on there, give it a like and a subscribe. I'm all
Yeah.
about that. And man,
Always appreciated.
Hey, I appreciate your time. If you got a few more minutes, I do have one quick question that might be a longer answer if you have time for it.
Hit me.
Bonus segment here. Danny Brams, you and I've mentioned it on the podcast before. We had a brief trial pilot for a possible podcast idea. We hung out, we grabbed some beers, we talked about some nerdy stuff, we talked about some movies and some TV shows. Can you tell me, in this year of our Lord 2025, what are some of the best TV shows and movies that you have encountered, that you've been watching? What has struck your fancy this year in pop culture?
Well, I got early on. It's kind of like gaining steam these days, but I watched this about a month or so ago, this show on Netflix called The Hunting Wives that was
Ooh.
not exactly IP genre, but it's more of just a absolutely absurdist, over the top, like primetime soap opera type show. Absolutely insane. Filmed all around Charlotte and
Oh,
North
wow.
Carolina. It was like a lot of the scenes were taped here in Charlotte at Coyote Joe's and Dilworth Tasting Room. So
No way.
I could recommend The Hunting Wives. It's a little bit crazy. It's a little bit out there, but it's pretty funny. If
It's
you
one
just
of
kind of
our
take
own.
it,
It's one of our
take
own.
it all in stride. Yeah, and it's local. And I loved Avengers, or excuse me, Fantastic Four. Sorry, I also
Oh,
loved Thunderbolts, the new Avengers,
the
but
new Avengers,
loved
yeah.
Fantastic Four. Absolutely great. Yeah, that's what I've been watching a lot of lately, and I've also been going. This is old school, but I've been binging when I have nothing else to watch. I turn on the Grand Tour, which is on
Okay.
Amazon Prime. Like a show. I'm not really a car guy, but I have
Yeah.
a great friend who is a car guy, and he got me into the show, the Grand Tour, and I just like the chemistry between all the hosts on that show. It's like the old British Top Gear guys. It's their more recent show that they did after Top Gear, and
It's
it's
like
it's
Jeremy
it's
Clarkson, right?
yeah, Jeremy Clarkson. Yeah, so there's 7 seasons of that. I think the last season was done a couple years ago, but yeah, Clark. I would recommend Grand Tour if you want an easy binge that you can sort of have as like while you're doing something else. Always good. And then yeah, is there anything else? Big Brother's having a pretty interesting season. I'm a
Okay.
huge I love reality contest shows. I'm not big into like Real Housewives or anything like that, or or Southern Charm or any of those type shows. I don't really care about those, but I love contest reality shows like Big Brother, Survivor, Amazing Race, The Challenge. So I'm a Paramount Plus guy in that regard, and yeah, that's what I've been watching this summer.
Dude, that's amazing. Have you seen Love Island by any chance?
I skipped this season of Love Island, and I've been told that was a mistake because everyone's saying it was like the best season ever. But I watched the last few seasons before this one, and they were pretty
Okay.
good. So yeah.
So the producers of that show did a show called The Circle on Netflix. And if you use your VPN, you can watch the UK seasons too. Like the UK seasons are the best of The Circle. And then the Netflix seasons, especially season one, are amazing. That's my guilty pleasure
Okay,
reality show. So it's
love it.
competition. It's competition and like social media kind of blended together. Um, so I would recommend that if you have the time and you want to have a glass of wine and just enjoy some guilty pleasure reality nonsense. The Circle's amazing. It's my go-to. But dude, that have you seen
Who
Super?
amongst us doesn't enjoy that? Yeah.
Look, I like a good girls' night sometimes, right? Like where I can just put on the bathrobe, have a nice enjoyable evening, little glass of wine. I'm kind of fancy like that. Watch some shitty reality. Um,
Well then, yeah. Well, you need to watch The Hunting Wives then for sure. Yeah.
apparently, I heard about that one scene in The Hunting Wives. You know which one I'm talking about, right?
No, there's at least 5 scenes that would qualify for being
Gee,
that one scene.
good
The
lord.
show is absolutely insane. Trust me.
Okay, well,
Yeah, for sure.
well, when the girlfriend comes over, I might have to check that out. But no,
Yeah.
have you seen? Let's get back to kind of pop culture topics here. Have you seen Superman yet?
I have not seen Superman, and I'm a Marvel guy over DC. Although I do want to see the Superman, and I meant to see it on the big screen. I just haven't yet, but I will. I'll probably still try to see that in theaters before it goes out.
Okay, well,
Hopefully, in the
you're
next couple of weeks, I suppose. It's also coming to streaming fairly soon. So
yeah, your time's kind of running out on that one. But I will just tell you, as a friend to friend, it's going to change your life. It may not be in a huge
wow,
way, it may be a very small way, but it will stick with you. And it's something that will, I think, impact and change your life for the better, even if it's just in the smallest way. The movie has so much
fantastic.
heart, it has such a message that is relevant in these troubled times. I cannot recommend Superman highly enough. Now, as a movie, is it perfect? No, by no means. I'd give it maybe an 8 out of 10. But it's one of my favorite superhero movies, comic book movies that has come out. I mean, that I can remember because it feels like one of those early 2000s superhero movies, but so much better at a different level. Um, and it really has heart and it has a message. So I love it to death. One of my new favorite movies, Superman. Fantastic Four, though, you mentioned that earlier, completely blew my mind. That movie, I was in the theaters and just I couldn't get my jaw off the floor a few times with the
Yeah.
swings that it took. And Superman's much the same way. It takes some giant swings, but like Fantastic Four, I feel like people haven't been talking about it online as much. And
Yeah,
with
it's kind of weird. I haven't seen a lot of chatter for it, but you know, I do like to sort of, you know, nerd out on the things I like, but also, you know, if I like it, that's good enough for me, you know.
yeah,
So
there you go.
if they're not talking about it, then
Did you
yeah.
ever read like the old school comics, like the 60s, 70s Marvel comics?
No, I never did. I'm not got huge into comics. I read more Star Wars comics than
Oh,
anything
okay.
else, but I
Nice.
did. I mean, I was familiar enough with the lore by osmosis that I knew what the Fantastic Four were all about. I actually never did see any of the other two iterations of them that they did films about. But
That's
as a
probably for the
guy who
best.
got hooked on the MCU during COVID pandemic, I pretty much had to uh, stick. I had to give this one a shot, and I'm glad I did. It was really good.
Yeah. Well, I love to hear that, man. I'm gonna let you go because we've been going way over the expected
Hey,
time
we got to
limit
hit the
here.
bonus content, baby.
This might
That's what
have
it's
to
all
be
about, you know.
a side episode, just like extra special for the sickos. But man,
Hey, I'm
Danny,
glad I could join you, man, for sure.
I tell you this every time we hang out and every time that you're on the show here. I fucking love what you guys do. The Charlotte Soccer Show is the best Charlotte FC podcast. You guys have such a vibe. What's coming up in the future? Are you guys gonna be putting out regular episodes, doing the decoding the presser? What's going on?
I'm gonna do a decoding the presser for Archie Goodwin for sure, and then we're gonna try to, you know, our episodes sometimes can be a little sporadic at times, but we try to deliver when we do them, and I think we have a sort of we'll definitely do like a, you know, state of the club and the win streak in Milanda with Johnny and I later this week too. So look out for that
Okay.
for sure.
Well,
But
hey,
I'm glad that we got to do a little instant reaction here right now. It's
yeah.
absolutely fantastic.
I mean, this is probably not coming out for another day or two, but I just want to tell you, like, feedback from your fans, your listeners, and myself included, is we need more content with Johnny and Danny because the two of you together
Oh
are
man.
amazing. We love you so much. We have a parasocial relationship with you guys. You're part of the Charlotte FC family. So
Man,
my feedback is like,
I'm grinning ear to ear, man. It's so nice to hear you say
bro,
that.
give
It's
us
really
more
kind and sweet.
content. I love it. So if you guys are not currently
Done.
following the Charlotte Soccer Show on social media, make sure you do, especially YouTube. They do some live broadcasts where you can jump in and talk with other fans. Give them a like and a subscribe, obviously. But the decoding the presser, that's how I consume my media when I'm not in the press conference myself. Because hearing the instant reactions from Danny is fantastic. And it's one of those things. It's like, is it illegal? I don't know. The club lets them do it, so it must be okay. I love that, man. Like the instant feedback where you press pause on the press conference and then give a little breakdown on what was just said. What's your opinion on it? Like that's what I love, man. It's that kind of streamer culture that I don't necessarily embrace, but done the right way. So
Yeah.
the utmost
It's fun,
respect,
man, and
man.
it's awesome to hear that feedback. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're doing fantastic. I love it. Charlotte Soccer Show. Danny, as we leave today, can you give the fans the catchphrase?
Charlotte FC, it's for the crown, baby.